artificial borders, weak state institutions, corrupt statesmen, fragile ethnic accords, and an ever-deepening inequality.
What does all of it lead to? A coup d'etat. Derived from French, it literally means a stroke of state. More generally, a coup is an illegal and overt attempt by the military or civilian elite to unseat an incumbent leadership.
And the African continent has seen not one, not two, but several such attempts within this year.
Reports of gunfire in the capital, followed by a television announcement that the president has been deposed by mutinous soldiers. The increasingly familiar storyline unfolded again this year in Africa. First in Niger, then in Gabon. The resurgence of military coups renewed concerns about democracy backsliding on the continent. It also underscored shifting regional alliances at a time when international peacekeeping efforts waned. The year started with infighting breaking out in Sudan. The rival factions of the military rulers of the country began fighting for power in April this year, following disagreement over an internationally backed political transition plan. At least 250,000 people have fled the fighting. The conflict has displaced more than 7 million people, left Khartoum in ruins, caused a humanitarian crisis, and triggered ethnically driven killings in Darfur. Moving from Sudan in the Sahel region, we get to Niger. On July 26th this year, Niger's government was overthrown and President Mohamed Bazoum was taken hostage. The Economic Community of West African States issued an ultimatum to the coup leaders.
Release President Mohamed Bazoum, his family and associates immediately and without condition,
threatening military intervention if deposed Bazoum was not returned to power. ECOWAS member states suspended relations with Niger and closed their land and air borders with the country. On August 20th, the main coup leader and self-proclaimed head of state, General Abdurrahman Tiani, presented his roadmap in a televised address. The plan enunciates a transition period of no more than 3 years and an inclusive national dialogue. He also reiterated that his country would defend itself in the event of a military intervention. Moving south from Niger, we get to Gabon. On August 30th, Gabon's Election Commission announced that President Ali Bongo Ondimba had been elected to a third term. Just hours later, a group of Gabonese military officers from the elite Presidential Guard unit seized power and placed the president under arrest at his palace. Later that day, the officers declared General Brice Oligui Nguema as chairman of the transition. While the election itself had been marred by reports of irregularities, the officers' coup roped in Gabon to the string of African states that saw military rulers taking over this year. Finally, we get to Sierra Leone. On November 26th, unidentified gunmen targeted the Wilberforce military barracks and several police stations and correctional centers in Freetown, Sierra Leone. The Minister of Information and Civic Education declared the attacks in the capital as an unsuccessful coup attempt to overthrow the government. Although unsuccessful, the number of coups and coup attempts this year in Africa has sent the message. Democracy is facing a steep challenge in the continent, and a Western-style form of government may not be tenable in many African states.